All right, here's what I thought would be fun. Let's do a 2018 retroactive review of the DX07 by Hot Toys. I bought it because, as most of you who have been following my work, I'm working on a lot of Bespin environments with the carbon freezing chamber in different sizes, and of course the upcoming Bespin gantry. So this figure was a must-have, and I was very lucky to be able to buy it from one of my clients. And I thought, let's look at this with 2018 eyes and see if it's still worth the price of admission. So let's go. So before we get into the nuts and bolts of this review, let's take a look at the DX series. Personally, I've been a big fan and I've owned several of them, but they are a bit weird. I've googled the DX series, and this is a full list thanks to HotToysPH.com. And what's strange is when you look at the collection of all the Hot Toys DX series, then there's a lot of emphasis on the less popular franchises. The Dark Knight is very much represented with the DX01 and DX02, and later on with, I think, the 11 and 12, but we'll see that. Then Michael Jackson, that's a one-off, and I can see that. Same for Bruce Lee. I can understand Indiana Jones, one of the lesser of the DX series, if you ask me. I don't think the head sculpt is very good. This is the one I sold quite quickly. I love the Jack Sparrow they did, but this is another example of a franchise that is very well represented with several figures, whereas the very popular franchises like Star Wars and Marvel are not. I mean, this is the only one that I know of. So more Batman, this time the 89 Batman. Then another one that's very popular in the DX series, Terminator, in DX10 and DX13 again. Then DX11 and 12, Dark Knight once again. More Terminator, more Batman 89. And again, very recently, relatively recently, another Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, if someone can explain to me the logic behind this, I'm very open to it, because, like I said, I really love the concept of the DX series. And why do I love it? It's a collectible like a collectible should be to me. Everything's there and then some. The packaging is top-notch, and it really makes me feel like I have something special. So, I would love to see more DXs. I think it's a shame that they've stopped making them, because in 2010 and 11, most of them came out. Then they did some more in 2012, by the way. Then one more in 2013, and then 2017, and that's it. So I think that's a shame. For those who have never owned a DX series, let me show you what I'm talking about. They all come in what I think is pretty much the same size box. I've had the Terminator ones, I've had the Dark Knight ones, and I've had the DX07, and I've had DX06 Jack Sparrow. So, and the Indiana Jones, by the way. So I've had many of them, if not most. And I think they all came with this beautiful box. They have a metal tab here that opens and closes it. Then there's always something special on the inside here. So in this case, it's a Luke Skywalker type thing. What is this? It's not a booklet, but it is. Let's see what's inside here. The Luke Skywalker. This is perforated, so I don't know if you can see my hand through this, but it says Luke Skywalker, now a commander in the Rebel Alliance. Luke leads an attack against the Imperial forces who have discovered the secret base on Hoth. Then Luke journeys to Dagobah to seek out Yoda, the Jedi Master who instructed Obi-Wan. With Yoda's help, Luke prepares to confront Darth Vader, who has set a trap for the Jedi in training at Bespin's Cloud City. Very cool. Beautifully made. Never saw anything like this before with the perforation. I failed to see the relevance to Star Wars Luke Skywalker, but let's just accept it for what it is, and that's cool. Do or do not, there is no try. And then moving to the other side, you see Luke Skywalker, where it says the exact same thing as it says in here. The inside is nicely, the back side I should say, is nicely padded with this foam. So this is what greets us on the inside of the box. The two Luke Skywalkers, this is something to expect when you get a DX figure, especially with the DX07. If you got the original pre-order, you got a pretty good price performance, I think. Now, for many of the DXs, the prices skyrocketed, but back then you got two full figures plus all the extras I'm going to show you later. So read the instructions before use. Yes, we will believe you there. Now, another interesting thing about the DX series that has come and gone with the DX series, I think, is the PERS eye system. It allows the eyes to be moved around in the head. I will show you how that works later. And then when you take off this bit here, now when you buy DX07s used, like I have for this one, this is mostly going to be damaged. In this case, hardly, but especially for some of the Dark Knight, and I think Terminator ones, this is quite thin, so that easily tears. And so, more stuff in the beautiful foam. Again, this is something that I'm sensitive to. I like this type of high quality stuff. So let's get into it. So here's the close-up of what's behind the first sheet and what's in the first layer. You see the two figures with both guns, two laser lightsabers, one extended and one just a hilt, then a number of hands, and of course one of the most iconic bits is the severed lower arm, and this goes on top of that, like you see in the end of Empire Strikes Back, where Leia treats Luke's severed hand. Always fascinating to see that stuff lying around on the Millennium Falcon, just in case somebody gets his hand chopped off. Anyway, then you take off this take out the first layer with stuff, and you are greeted with yet more stuff. This is the Weathervane that is included with the kit. And I will take that out and show you guys. So let's see what came out of the box. First, this is the sort of kind of carbon freezing chamber style stand. I don't know why they made this red, but these slots, they didn't. Anyway, there's a crotch grabber in the box. I left it in there. Then there's the other Luke Skywalker, the standard stand they've been using, the oval stand they have been using for years and years and years. Also, the Luke Skywalker DX07 manual. Let's see what we find in there. For people who are new to the game or haven't used the DX07, this is quite relevant, so please be sure to check that out. You take off the hair and move the joystick around to move the eyes. The clasp for the belt is under the belt, but this is very finicky stuff and very easy to damage, so be very careful when you do, and if you don't really need to, I wouldn't. It shows how to change the, you just take out the hand and put on the auto tourniquet, or tourniquet. You can also use the palm stump. It's magnetic, so you can put a hand on there, or the one specific hand. And this is the assembly guide for the light up Weathervane I will get to later. Cool thing is it includes a part that makes this wall mountable, and because the thing itself pivots like so, you can either mount it on the wall, on a wall or on a ceiling. So I think that's very cool. Yeah, so this, you can also use it with this part here, which is a stand for the Weathervane if you don't want to screw anything into anything. And then there's a repeat for, which is probably Chinese or something. So, looking at the Weathervane, now that's kind of a strange and interesting mixed bag. This is a very decent part, the stand, the optional stand if you don't want to screw it into anything. Then getting this, this part to me is a bit of a mystery. It's a mystery to me. Bonus points for those in the comments who know where that line's from. Because why is it a mystery? This is metal. This is very nice and nicely painted plastic. This again is metal. There's actual LEDs here. But then if you take this bit, you can see my fingers shining through it, so it's so thin. You can hear the sound. This is something so cheaply made that it rivals the stand for the interrogation droid in the episode 4 Darth Vader, if you own that. It's plastic that you wouldn't even find on a Happy Meal, and why in God's name, I don't know. So this is the part of the Weathervane, and like I said, you can mount it on the wall like this, mount it on a ceiling like this. Here's the part that kind of connects in there. There's actual screws in your kit you can use to screw this part to the wall. And then here's the other part that came out there, and that is more metal pieces. Yeah, so if you look at this part, there's a thread here, and that threads into this part of the other Weathervane, making it a very long Weathervane. So so then there are 3 of these arms that screw into the side. Like so. Same goes for the other end. So, then you just place this in here, and let me pan up for you guys. Top with the cheap plastic and the nice plastic and the actual metal rods, and then going down. Oh yeah. This one needs to be straightened like that. Okay, so if we turn it around like this, then here is actually what is the back, because it's where this thing ratchets into, and you see the screw hole that will hold the cell batteries that will allow these lights to blink. So we're all lucky today, because even though this is a very old figure, I found the batteries inside and they didn't corrode. The second part of luck is that when I took them out, I saw that I had some of these left from other Hot Toys figures, so I can show you what it looks like when you turn it on. There is a button right here, and it's pretty light, so let me dim it in here. so you can see the blue light. This blue light, as you can see, this is brighter than the blue light coming through here, even though the camera slightly exaggerates the difference. But as you can see, the LEDs are blinking in a random pattern, just like in the movie, so I think that's pretty cool. So panning down, showing you the other lights, they don't light up because they, well, they're screwed in, so there's no wire running there. So I'm not even sure they light up in the movie, probably, but anyway, this is pretty cool, and I'm going to overlay a picture now that I took of my first DX07 with this Weathervane to show you the power of this stand. So here they are, the brothers Skywalker, the two figures that come with the DX07. And let's pan down to see the accessories you get apart from the Weathervane. And as you can see, the bases are there, and then you have the lightsabers, the weapons, the auto tourniquet, the hands, and the arm. Let's go over a few of the problems I have with the figure. First off, 5 extra hands is not nearly enough if you have 2 figures, so I think that's a bit of a shame. Then this is cool, the hand that gets chopped off, a bit gruesome though, but with the magnetic hand you can really make a cool setup. Weapons are fine. 2 of those typical blasters. I love the design of this blaster, by the way, so that's pretty cool. Like I said, 2 lightsabers, one with the extended saber. This was back in 2011, so way before light-up lightsabers. And then the auto tourniquet. So a bit thin on the ground when it comes to the extra stuff here. So moving up to the figures, I think really high quality stuff. The boots, I compared them in my Princess Leia review. The Princess Leia Hoth figure has the same boot design, but there's a very white, those are very white plastic, whereas this is actual, well, it feels like, it looks like suede with some subtle weathering around the straps here, so that's good. Moving up to the pants, then we get to another contentious point, the belt. The belt is beautifully made, looks accurate, but it's very easy to damage. You can see it here with the strap that's supposed to hold the magnet to hold the blaster. That doesn't work. And this is my second DX07. I lost it on the first DX07 myself. Here it was lost before I got my hands on it. Same goes here, I think. And you see that this has broken loose. So the seller was kind enough to provide me with an extra custom-made, even higher quality belt system. If anybody's interested, just contact me and I will contact my seller to ask where he got it, because this is really good stuff. Better, more accurate, and stronger, most importantly. As you can see, the thing that goes around the leg is an actual strap with an actual belt buckle, so that's much better. So, moving up, like the Tarkin figure, it's very hard to hide the joints with the cuffs. They just seem a bit too short, and it really takes a while and a lot of futzing to get that right. But as you pose the figures naturally, you can see the sleeves just look a bit too short, basically. Another thing I never noticed is how high the waist is on the belt in the movie, but I'm guessing that's part of the normal design. And then there's the very cool sleeveless shirt you can use. If you take off this, you can use it in a Dagobah type setting. So moving into the portraits. So the portraits, I did a slide repose to show off the portraits and possibly the problems with it. You see, the purse system is beautiful in that you can really change the expression, where I've seen many people on the forum complain that many figures like the Princess Leia Hoth has a bit of a vacant stare. This can really give a very intense look and thus emotion. The problem with the purse system when it comes to my experience is actually that it makes the eyes look backward. They're just a little bit too far backward. There's a little bit of an awkward space there, and it's hard to get the exact right position most of the time, in my experience. Another thing is that these magnets can easily come up. There's a magnet here, there's a magnet or a piece of metal on the inside that can easily get lost. They come off several times. And the hair also, well, you have to be very careful to position it correctly for it to even sit correctly. But it also seems just a little bit away from the head in an unnatural way. So maybe that's the reason why they quit using the purse system. But as you can see, it really can work beautifully for the exact expression that you're looking for. When it comes to the head sculpt, again with the 2018 eyes, it's good, but let me get one of my favorite current figures like the Governor Tarkin to compare. Okay, few reasons why this is not a totally fair comparison. Of course, it's 7 years later, so there's more detailing. The second reason being this isn't PERS, so both the head, the hair, and the eyes look more natural, at least to me. And the third reason is that this is an old man, and like with Old Man Kenobi, they really can make it look, give it more life. So let me get closer here. Where a young person, it's just harder to do. So it's good, not Tarkin good. It's pretty accurate. Skywalker or Mark Hamill, like his co-star Harrison Ford, apparently are very hard to capture very accurately. In the case of Hamill, with the years passing and the car accident, his actual face changed a bit. So yeah, so here you see what I think are pretty decent sculpts, especially for the time, but it could be better. So especially it kind of holds up compared to modern day figures. I mean, it doesn't look out of place like some very early sideshow work I've seen. I've rearranged the eyes to give you an impression of how different you can make them look, and you can really capture some more intensity in the sculpt, like with this. So there is something to say for the purse system, and I really think that it does blend well with the other Hot Toys figures, which for me really makes it a must-have. So, final thoughts. It's a nice set. It's a good set, and you get 2 complete figures out of it. And even though the hands, I don't think there are enough hands. It is a very complete set, and it has all you need. Okay, so final thoughts. It's a really nice kit to have. It's pretty overpriced in the current market, but if you want a nice Empire Strikes Back type setup, especially with the dioramas of the carbon freezing chamber and the upcoming Bespin gantry. I think this is a must-have. The PER system is a bit of a mixed bag in the fact that it detracts from the quality of the sculpt, but it does give you much flexibility and gives you the chance for emotions. You have to be really careful to have the hair set on straight to make that look right. The costume is quite finicky, and it's harder to hide the joints because of the length of the sleeve. With just a few millimeters more, that would have been better. Be sure to get one where the belt is still intact, because that's quite easily damaged. So let me close with a few more pictures and videos of this thing in action, and I want to thank you for watching.